Hey, Warrior Saints! Father Chris here. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to Wednesday morning's version of our Crucifixional live stream, helping us navigate the chaos that is the world we live in. I want to pray, and then I want to get after it. Let's pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Illumine our hearts, O Master, who loves mankind with the pure light of your divine knowledge, and open the eyes of our mind to the understanding of your gospel teachings. Implant in us also the fear of your blessed commandments, that trampling down all carnal desires, we may enter upon a spiritual manner of living, both thinking and doing such things as are well-pleasing unto thee. For you are the illumination of our souls and bodies, O Christ our God, and unto thee do we ascribe glory together with the Father from everlasting. The all-holy, good, and life-giving Spirit, now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen. Welcome. Good morning. We have been talking about fathers and the supposed epidemic of absentee fatherism, or fatherhood, that's going on in the nation. One of the things that you may have seen statistically out there, which we're kind of using as a springboard, is that in some of our culture, our communities within the United States of America, that some children are raised with 50, 60, or even 70% homes that do not have fathers present. We also know that almost half of all marriages in this country end in divorce, which again means there is a break in the home and a split between mother and father, and most of the time fathers are not always in the house. You can find your own data and so on. I was even raised in a fatherless house. My father was killed by a drunk driver when I was 7 years old, so my mother had to do it all by herself. So I get it personally as well, that absentee fatherhood is a real problem. And what happens because of that? If you remember the data, like incarceration rates are up, suicide rates are up, depression is up, drug use is up. I mean, it's just, there's a multitude of things that are happening. And you know what else is really the worst part about it is that young men and young women who are raised in homes with fathers absent really need to develop some leadership skills. And in order to have those skills, the fathers have to teach them. In order for fathers to be able to teach them, they got to know them. So it's at this moment, take my quick pitch, I want you to visit us at warriorsaints.org, because what we're doing, we've created a leadership series. It's called Crucifixional Leadership. You want to know how to do it, how to do the business right? Just watch it. Go there, subscribe, watch the videos, learn. Very simple. All of that to say, to be we're going to give you a sneak peek here at the end of this episode of some of the footage that we have actually created, like some real footage from the Way of the Warrior Saint. I'll talk about it more at the end. Fathers have to be present in order to teach their kids how to be strong men and women. Yesterday, we talked about how you have to physically and emotionally be present, which leads to today's lesson. Today's understanding is, look, you have to show them, now that you're physically there, you have to show them how to treat other people. How you lead by that example, right? And we want to specifically talk about husbands and wives. Taking, what's the word I want to use, Greg? Taking our footing from, I'm using Ephesians chapter 5. Taking our stand, taking our lead. Thank you, Greg. Taking our lead from Ephesians 5, you're this beautiful verse, right? Wives and husbands, submit to one another as to the Lord. And you hear, husbands, love your wives, 5:25. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. How did Christ love the church? He gave himself for it, right? Do you understand that? Christ died for the church. Husbands, likewise, you must die for your bride. And when your kids see that, something happens. I'm going to tell you some real stuff. Look, in my home, my wife is the queen. She is the love of my life. I have nothing but great respect, great love, great admiration for her. She is also stunningly gorgeous, and I flirt with her all the time. Like all the time. Pinches, kisses, hugs, all that kind of stuff. My daughters hate it. Like they can't stand it because they're 15 and 13 at this point. And they're like, Baba, ew, it's gross. Don't do that, right? They're in that phase where they're starting to get into boys, but they don't want to see their father doing it with their mother. And, if I grab her hand or grab her from behind or give her a hug or kiss her or snuggle in her neck, whatever it may be, or a little pinch, they can't stand it. And yeah, I probably do a little bit of it to make them a little bit uncomfortable because I think it's really funny. And my wife can't stand it. It drives her nuts, makes her embarrassed, makes her uncomfortable. And the girls will sit there and say hello, we're right here, But my point to them is this, and I say it to them all the time. You see how I behave with your mother. Don't you ever find yourself involved with a man who doesn't love you and doesn't respect you as much as I do your mother. And they get it. They still do the ews, but they get it. What I'm trying to do is to show them. So I have 2 daughters. I want my girls to see, hey, this is how a man should treat a woman, right? This is how a husband should treat a wife. This is how our father should treat our mother. This is how I should be treated. Do you understand? Like, in other words, I am not just living hopefully what I consider a crucifixional marriage, but I'm also modeling that for my children so that my girls know that when they get involved with men someday as they get older and finish college and so on and date and marry one day, that they just, you notice that? I hope my girls are watching. You finish college and then date? All right. But when they get to that point, they will not be oblivious to be like, if they've not seen how a husband should treat a wife, a father should treat a mother, how will they know what to expect? And what if they find themselves with a man who is a jerk but snows them quite quickly and then all of a sudden he's like a total meathead with them, or worse, right? How would they know? I mean, they've never seen it. But if they are raised in a household where they see what it is supposed to be like, and I'm bragging about my marriage, I have the best marriage on the planet, but because we work hard at it, both my bride and I, and they've seen it, and though they may ew us when I flirt, they know, so that when they find themselves in their own lives later, they will know. Do you understand it? And it is so powerful. It is so important. And part of the reason, I'm not blaming any woman or any man for the abuse that they may take in their marriage, but at some point I am. Because at some point, some of us we need to stop it. But how will they even know what to stop if what they see is not appropriate? Do you understand? It's a tough line I'm drawing, but what I'm saying is, really the most important part is, fathers, you better model for your girls how a woman should be treated. And though I have no sons, I also know, fathers, it may be even more important for you to model for your sons how they should treat a woman, right? Look, let me just put it to you like this. If your son ever comes to want to date my daughter, I'm going to know what you taught him. I will be able to tell the moment the kid walks through the door. And let me tell you, so will my girls. And so it's important for fathers to show and teach their sons how to behave with women. Look, if you're that guy, hey woman, go get me a sandwich, what do you think your son's going to be? I mean, what do you think he's going to be? He's going to be the same way. Hey woman, go get me a sandwich. If you are a husband who sacrifices, according to Ephesians 5:25, husbands, love your wives the way Christ loved the church and gave himself for it, they're going to see it. They're going to see it, and it will be ingrained in them to do likewise with their own wives. Do you understand it? Now, you can see how powerful that a father can be in the house when he teaches his daughter and his son, or either or both, how to take care of, treat, and respect and love the other sex when they get married at that point. You understand it? Imagine, what do you expect from these kids if you as a father are absent? Who's going to fill that void, right? How will they know? I'm sure, look, it happened for me. My mother was smart. My mother was strong. My mother brought strong, priests and uncles and cousins into the picture to give my sister and I strong role models. But the majority of people who have no fathers in the house, they're not that lucky. I was very lucky, right? And what are they going to learn? What are they going to see if they don't have somebody to show, model, teach, and live it? I mean, how tragic can it be? As we can see from our statistics, it can be very tragic. So while we're not picking on that, it is for us, the message is, dads, get your butts in the homes, be present, and teach, and guide, and love, and show them how to respect your wives and to respect their mothers, right? It's so essential. They will take that with them. The good news is they will take that with them. And whatever you give to them, they will take with them. So that when the boys go to meet a woman, when the young men go to meet a young lady, they will know how to treat her. And when the young ladies will have a boy come and a suitor calling for their hand, they will know how they should be treated. It won't be just guesswork. Do you understand it? It is so important. It is so important. So you, dads, have to teach. You have to lead, to use our scriptural message from Matthew 5, which is really guiding our Crucifixional Leadership series. You're a light to the world. You have to be a light to the world. And you as a father, like I keep saying over and over, when we talk about leadership, some people's minds jump immediately to being the CEO of a Fortune 500 company with, worth billions of dollars and a gazillion employees. Great if you can do it, but if not, lead in your house. Start in your home and be a leader. Be a light so that, think about it again. What does light do? Light shows me where to walk, how to walk, what obstacles in the dark room to avoid. Be that light for your kids so they know where to walk and they know how to walk and how to live crucifixional lives themselves. All you have to do is become a crucifixional leadership. And we're teaching you how to do that. warriorsaints.org. I keep saying it, warriorsaints.org. Visit warriorsaints.org. All you got to do, subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint. It is an online library that teaches us all kinds of courses on how to do that, how to be strong leaders, how to become lights in the world so people can look at you and say, that's what I want to be like, that's who I want to follow. That is a leader that I can get behind. And you can do that. And look, how much more powerful, impressive if, forget people in the world say that. What if your kids say that? What if your kids look at you and say, that's a guy I want to be like. That's someone I want to follow. How fabulously awesome is that? You can do it. We can help. warriorsaints.org. Subscribe. Don't wait. Do it today. Like, what are we waiting for? It's just, I don't know how you're not doing it every single, it's like, and it's dirt cheap. It's like $20 a month if you use that promo code. Just do it. All right. Well, what is this thing? Follow the Way of the Warrior Saints. I love that you asked. We're going to show you right now about a 3-minute clip. So what you're about to see is from a class that we taught for a young man's, a Becoming Men series. It's a series for young men, teenage boys, teaching them to become men. And the episode was called How a Gentleman Treats a Lady. Now, we filmed this video here in Arizona, and I used as my stunning co-star my beautiful bride. And Greg and I took her to lunch, and we filmed how some of the things, some of the real genteel tips that a gentleman should use in treating a lady. The goal here is not for a dude to treat a gal, but a gentleman to treat a lady. There are a million more than what you're about to see, but what you're about to see is kind of a start. It's a kickoff for what it means for a gentleman to treat a lady. If you do this, your kids are going to see it, and they're going to say, oh, there's something different out there. Watch this clip. I'll be back in just 3 short minutes. Go for it, Greg. A gentleman always opens the door for a lady. When walking with a lady, a gentleman always offers his arm. He doesn't loop, he offers and she loops, like this. As opposed to looping in like this. Do you see the difference? I don't loop, I offer, the lady loops. Let's look at that from behind again. A gentleman offers, a gentleman doesn't loop. So when a gentleman walks with a lady, he offers that arm to give her stability and support. Not that she necessarily needs it, but as a polite gesture. When walking with a lady on the street, the gentleman, as we noted before, offers the arm and always walks on the outside of the street, not allowing the lady to be on the curbside. The gentleman is always on the curbside. When entering any establishment, a gentleman always opens the door for the lady, stepping aside, allowing her to go through first, and he follows behind her. He doesn't go in before her, nor does he open the door, allowing himself to go in first to hold the door open from the inside. Always, the gentleman opens the door, steps aside, and allows the lady to walk through first. When approaching the table to be seated, a gentleman always pulls out the chair for the lady and then escorts her in. So when ordering your meal at a restaurant, the gentleman always defers and allows the lady to order first.
May I get the order, please?
Yes, I will start with the wedge salad, and I will have the filet mignon.
When at the table and the lady needs to excuse herself, the gentleman always stands up with her, waits till she leaves, and then sits back down.
Would you pardon me for a moment?
Of course.
Thank you.
And the inverse is true when the lady returns to the table. As the lady returns to the table, it's just like the original seating. He stands with her, pulls her chair out, and then pushes it back in for her.
Thank you.
Wasn't that fun? I hope you enjoyed it. That was kind of fun. We put that together a couple of years ago, really early on in our Warrior Saints filming days. But the message is pretty clear there. I mean, first, let's talk about it. My wife's hot. Oh, she's a beautiful lady. I love it. All right, bias, but for sure. She was really gracious to do that with us because she can't stand the camera. She's so charming and graceful and just, reserved. She just didn't want to do it, but I begged her and she did it. You can see, however, not everything that a gentleman should do for a lady. A handful, a smattering of things that genteel men do for ladies. But the idea is, in all things, I always treat her with the utmost respect. And my kids see that she is respected. I'll end with this. There was one day, I'm an Arab, right? I'm the son of an Arab, and I think like an old sheikh. But I'm going to tell you, you'll see why it's funny. I tease my bride for being an American woman, my American wife. Her mentality is to negotiate with the kids. I'm like, no, I'm the father, just do what I tell you. But they got into it when the kids were 3 and 5. I love this story, it makes my heart warm. 4 and 6, 3 and 5, whatever, they were young, and she was negotiating with them. And I said, all right, stay back, let's see if the American woman can figure it out. If not, I'll step in. Well, at some point, she just wasn't making headway with them. And I came up to them, and I, with a deep, stern voice, and I said to them, sit down and stop talking to your mother like that right now. And they both sat down and got quiet, right? And I said, and I pointed at her, I said, who is that woman? This is Mommy. I said, that's not your mother. Who is that woman? It's our mom. I said, that is not your mom. Who is that woman? And starting to cry, we don't know, it's our mommy. I said, that's not your mother. That's my wife. And nobody talks to my wife like that, including you. The kids got the message right away. The girls, they're like, oh, okay, we're not going to mess with the old man. But even more so, he has such great respect for that woman that we're not going to mess with that woman. Listen to what the little one said to me. Baba, as she walked away, she's like, Baba, I'm sorry I talked to Mommy. I mean, your wife like that. And I was like, it fills my heart. Every time I tell the story, they hate it because they get embarrassed. But it's telling them something very powerful, that I, more than anyone else on the planet, will respect that woman. And they will therefore grant her that respect. But more importantly than that, they have now learned what it means as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a human being, to be respected. And they will see in their future husband whether or not he will give to them the same thing. And that will say, they have to make their own choices. My girls may make bad choices, I don't know, and I pray that they don't. I pray that they make good choices. But at least they have been armed and taught with what it means to be respected, so that they will know what to look for and find someone who is respectful of them. And that's all I could ever want. That's all I want from them. They're ferocious lions. They will make, I'm confident, they're going to make good decisions. I know, because we have tried as hard as we can in our home to teach them what it means to be respected. And fathers, look, that is not a lesson that my wife could have taught them. As amazing as she is, that's a father lesson. And it had to come from a father. I'm not saying that fathers are better than mothers. Maybe we're just even a little bit less, but we're right there. But that was a father lesson. And so guys, you got to do it. All of that to say, I hope you enjoyed that little clip. It was a fun part of that video. That whole lesson was a little, a lot deeper. We dealt with Ephesians chapter 5, and we talked about a multitude of things. But in that, you can kind of get a flavor of what's going on in the way of the warrior saint. It's like telling us, here's an issue, here's what God says about it, here's how we do it with practical tools and practical tips. And that kind of stuff, that's just what you see. I want you to really take that seriously. We're doing everything we can to address an issue, to see it in the context that we find it in life, to see what God has to say about it, and how Jesus has conquered that and entrusted us to conquer that by living a crucifixional life, which we then follow with very practical points, practical tools that you can implement immediately, that moment. Like today, you just saw that video. If you're with your wife, fellas, you're going to go out to dinner, what's the very first thing you can do? Open the car door for her. That starts today. Offer your arm, pull the door open, pull her chair out, stand up. I mean, you can start that right now. You don't have to plan it. That's the idea, is that you start effecting change that day. And you know what? When you do that, people start to look at you and they say, there's somebody I could get behind. There is somebody who is a light to the world. I love you, beautiful people. I appreciate you. I appreciate the time. It's been fun today. I hope it's been fun for you. I enjoyed it. As always, do us the favor, share it, get it out there. I mean, help us. We were talking with somebody. You know what our real problem is with the Warrior Saints movement? Obscurity. That's the only one. I mean, we don't have a budget to advertise and sponsor and all that. Help us. We'd love for you to help us. Subscribe and share. Go to YouTube channel, or whatever that is, the bell. What's that called? The bell? Yeah, subscribe, whatever it is. Like us on Facebook. Share us wherever you can. We really appreciate that because it helps us get the word out, and maybe together we can make a change in the world. I love you. I'm going to stop talking now, but we will see you tomorrow, Thursday, for our Crucifixional live stream at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And until then, keep walking on the way